When you study Scripture, you find many examples of believers who dared to trust God so completely that they lived courageously. They dared to be faithful to God and live boldly for Him. Hi, I'm Chris Montgomery, Senior Pastor at Fraser Church. Welcome to Fraser 365. Thank you for joining us as we examine some of the most faithful and courageous heroes of Scripture. We hope this study challenges you to live boldly for Christ today.
Welcome to Day 4 of Dare to Be. Today's devotion is titled, The Danger of Conforming. David Guzik wrote, "This warns us that the world system, the popular culture and manner of thinking that is in rebellion against God, will try to conform us to its ungodly pattern, and that process must be resisted." Our text again today comes from Romans chapter 12, verses 1 and 2. "I appeal to you therefore, brothers, by the mercies of God, to present your bodies as a living sacrifice, holy and acceptable to God, which is your spiritual worship. Do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewal of your mind, that by testing you may discern what is the will of God, what is good and acceptable and perfect." In verse 1, Paul tells us what to do. Present your bodies as a living sacrifice, holy and acceptable to God, which is your spiritual worship. In verse 2, Paul tells us how to do it. It begins with not being conformed to this world. The word conformed refers to the act of an individual assuming an outward expression that does not come from within him, nor is it representative of his inner heart life. It lays stress on that which is external. We are not to be fashioned by the world. J.B. Phillips expressly renders the sentence, "Don't let the world around you squeeze you into its own mold." The word for world here signifies the condition of humanity, which, since the fall, is in spiritual darkness, with a nature, tendencies, and influences controlled by the powers of darkness in opposition to God, and now under the prince of this world. The world has its fads and fashions, and they change with each generation. Its mold exerts pressure on us all, not only in such relatively minor matters as dress and diet, but in such far more serious areas of life as morals, ethical standards, and religious beliefs. The world is the devil's lair for sinners and his lure for saints. It is human life and society with God left out. The believer whose body has been laid on the altar for God will not be conformed to the world. He is morally changed. His life is not molded from without, but from within. Conforming to the world is a dangerous temptation for the believer. You probably have heard the saying, "One bad apple can spoil the whole bunch." Scientifically, that is true because it's been determined that rot spreads through contact with apples and oranges through a process that softens the tissue inside these fruits. The same is true spiritually. The company we keep, the fellowship we share, the entertainment we watch, and the music we listen to all matter because rot spreads. We must guard our hearts and minds lest our Christian testimony and moral character all begin to soften and disintegrate over time. Some questions to consider. In what ways are you tempted to conform to the patterns of the world? Why is conforming so dangerous for the believer? And finally, what warnings are found in the following scriptures? From Proverbs chapter 13, Verse 20, whoever walks with the wise becomes wise, but the companion of fools will suffer harm. And from 1 Corinthians chapter 15, verse 33, do not be deceived. Bad company ruins good morals. Thanks for joining us. Have a great day.